emergency. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Survivor Series! The only reason why us British people know what Thanksgiving is because it's on Thanksgiving weekend. And for me personally, one of my favorite shows of the year, really underrated for me. Welcome to the Survivor Series Predictions podcast, joined by a special guest, someone who I've wanted to have on for a long time. Sienna, welcome to the podcast. How are we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here on this lovely Thanksgiving here I'm from US of A, y'all. I know y'all are having an amazing Thursday. I'm doing well. I cannot wait to talk about Survivor Series. This is like one of my absolute favorite pay-per-view, near and dear to my heart, because Survivor Series actually like my first ever WWE pay-per-view that I ever got in my life, including NXT TakeOver Wargames too, but now it's like Survivor Series Wargame combined, makes it extra special.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, what a cool weekend that used to be like with the TakeOver Wargames, and now they've combined them both. Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to lie, bit disappointed it's not Raw versus SmackDown. I used to love that when it was Raw versus SmackDown, but it's a good job that they've like showed up and shown out and give us like a really good card. How are the rest of us doing? Rob, Courtney, how are we all doing today?
Yeah. Very excited to talk about Survivor Series Wargames.
Good. Let's get straight into it. Then we've got 5 matches on the card, and you know what? Screw it. Let's just start with the absolute biggest match on the card, the one that everyone wants to talk about. We're not going to leave it to the end. Let's just talk about it now. The men's Wargame match. Judgment Day versus Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, and some other guy I can't remember the name of. What's his name?
Jay, not yet.
Randy Orton is returning at Survivor Series. Let's go. Finally, it's not just voices in our head or on the internet. We've actually heard it from WWE.
I was saying to the group chat before we started, every predictions episode we've done this year, we have always said that in the return section, debuts, whatever, we've always wanted Randy Orton to come back. And I was like, we no longer have to say that now because it's actually happening. And my mind, I still can't wrap around the fact that he's actually coming back.
I know, for real. Like, waiting for like, honestly, waiting for Randy Orton news is like waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6 news. Like, you never know when it's coming.
It's not wrong.
You hear rumors from all over the internet for ages, and then like someone officially says it, and you're like, like it's finally here.
Yeah.
So obviously, Sienna, because you're the guest, we're going to ask you first. Who do you want to win and why?
Oh, well, I had to think thoroughly, especially what happened on the last episode of Monday Night Raw when Cody made the announcement. Even though he did not say Randy Orton's name, the audience did help out. But seeing Jey Uso's reaction, giving that side eye, being like, you got to be kidding me, because there's past history between Jey and Randy Orton. And I'm excited to see what's going to be happening next. Now, I know Randy is going to be getting the huge pop from the audience since his return, the debut of his remix theme, and it's going to be in Chicago, which they're very notoriously known for having the rowdiest fan here in America. I'm really looking forward to it as well. I know with the Judgment Day, they're going through some friction going on, especially with Damian Priest and the rest of the members too. But honestly, to say is I feel like something's going to happen during the War Games match, and I feel that Randy is probably going to be the one that's going to be a little bit costing that match because of the friction going on with Jey. Also, don't know how he feel about Cody and all that stuff. So for my pick to win this matchup, I'm actually going to go with the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre to win the War Games match. And that way it's going to set... Yes.
That's interesting. And you know what? I want to touch on that after all these guys have said their predictions. But what you've just said there about tension, I want to go a little bit further into that before we go to the other matches. But G, who do you want to win and why?
Okay, so I've actually got Team Cody to win because I feel like they wouldn't bring back Randy Orton if they wasn't going to give them such a big return, such a big opportunity. I just feel like Team Cody will win because of Randy's return. But I do feel like there is going to be something going down between maybe Randy and Jey after the segment. after the match has already been won. I feel like there's going to be something there. I'm not entirely sure, but something.
Right. Okay. Oh, so you think there's going to be tension after the match? Like you
I
think there's
feel
going to
like
be
there'll
tension?
be tension through the entire match, but I feel like it's going to be focused so that they win. But I feel like something will happen after they've won.
Oh, I like this vibe. I like the whole tension talk. It's like
Yeah.
yes, like this is what I want to get into. Like Ross, who do you want to win and why?
So Judgment Day to win this because one of the Judgment Day members is going to pull Jay into Randy Orton hitting the RKO, and Randy Orton is still going to stand after it being like, well, he had it coming, because the whole thing was Randy was a babyface due to Matt Riddle being by his side.
Yeah.
Now, no Matt Riddle, Randy will go back to ye old faithful of what he's always been known as a heel. That's a perfect way to do it.
But technically, Team Cody is quite a face team at the moment, aren't they?
That's what I'm saying. He's been pulled in to still look like he's his baby face, but the only thing that really brought the baby face out of him was having Riddle be on his team.
Yeah.
Now there's no Riddle. That kind of humor's gone from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the thought. I like the train of thought right there. And finally, last but not least, our favorite Kiwi, Courtney. Who do you think's going to win?
So initially, before the last episode of Monday Night Raw, my pick was the same as Sienna's. It was Judgment Day. I felt as though they were in a really strong position to take this out. But the fact that Randy Orton is coming back, as Jay said, I genuinely feel that they are setting this up so that the babyface team will win. So my pick is Cody, Team Cody. I do think, as Jay said, that something is going to happen within the match. Just for reference, I believe the last match that Randy Orton had was the Usos versus RK Bro back on SmackDown a year and a half ago. So I feel as though that's going to play a part, especially when we saw Jay realize who Cody was talking about. I definitely think there will be some form of attack at the very end, either on Jay, or we could see some form of stare down between Cody and Randy afterwards as well, too, setting up that for ultimately later on. I feel as though with Judgment Day, it's very unpredictable. There's a lot of tension going on there. Damien's the leader of this Wargames match, but a lot of decisions are being made without Damien's consult, which means he's feeling out of the loop. And I feel as though we're getting more towards the end of him either being exiled out of Judgment Day or him just leaving altogether as well. I've seen online people talking about Randy Orton giving Rhea Ripley an RKO, and I wouldn't be mad at that. My thought just lies with, obviously, he's had back surgery. The RKO did a lot of damage to his back. Unpopular opinion here, I'd love to see him return to the punt kick. I feel as though that is a finishing move that is probably less impactful on his back. And especially now that Vince McMahon's not around, we're starting to see a lot more of those finishing moves come back. I know for the longest time, Vince wasn't happy with Seth Rollins doing the curb stomp, hence why he brought the pedigree back a little bit more. So I'd really love to see the punt kick come back, because I feel as though that's a finishing move that not a lot of people do, and it will definitely preserve his back a little bit more. So I'm going Team Cody. I think there's going to be tension on both sides. I'm really excited. This is my most anticipated match on the card. I'm really looking forward to it.
No, you bring up an interesting point there. Like you do, for real, because like don't get me wrong, I love a good RKO every now and again. But the punt kick really reminds me of peak Randy Orton when he was like when he was like fighting the McMahon family, when he was like fighting Triple H, like when he had the whole feud where Triple H went to his house. The punt kick reminds me of that, like when he was taking out all the Hall of Famers with it. Like that's like famous like star Randy Orton, and all. Like I said, although I love a good RKO, I wouldn't mind if he went back to the punt kick. But you guys all brought up an interesting point about Randy Orton. I think there's a lot of tension on both sides. He's like woven into a lot of history with all of these guys on both sides. Obviously, the feud with him and Drew McIntyre when he was a WWE champion a couple of years ago. But the real story here for me is the people who he's got on his team. Now, obviously, you've got when Sami Zayn was in the Bloodline, so was Jey Uso. Like the past is there. Seth Rollins and Randy Orton go all the way back to when they was working with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in like the whole, best of business. Yeah, the Authority. But the biggest story is legacy. Cody Rhodes, right there. Now, for me, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And if we're getting Cody Rhodes to the main event of WrestleMania, whether he's challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship or he's challenging for Roman Reigns, finishing the supposed story, I think he needs a storyline to really cement his road to WrestleMania. And who's better than Randy Orton? Randy Orton's right there. They clearly don't want to do a Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins rivalry yet. For some reason, for some odd reason, they don't want to do it, even though the story's right there. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton writes itself. Legacy, like right there. Randy Orton brought Cody Rhodes up, and then Cody Rhodes has come back as a star who is on Randy Orton's level and has kind of filled his spot on Monday Night Raw. Randy Orton is a natural heel. It genuinely wouldn't surprise me if Randy Orton cost Cody Rhodes the match. Like it really wouldn't. Randy Orton doesn't. Like, apart from with Matt Riddle, Randy Orton has never really been a good babyface. He's always been a great heel.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me about Randy Orton like in this match in any way costing the baby faces the match at all. It really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Have you got any thoughts on that, guys, or like did you want to correct me on anything there?
Like I said, I agree. The thing I was going to add with what Courtney mentioned about referring to other moves back as well. Like Seth started doing some of the buckle bomb, and some of the other wrestlers have now been doing buckle bombs again. That was like a big no-no for ages because of the injury that happened to Sting. So I definitely can see Randy Orton going back and doing moves that make the longevity, like as you said there, don't get me wrong, RKO is an incredible move and we all enjoy seeing it. But if we get to keep Randy for longer for him doing a pump kick, I wouldn't say no to it. And there's like many benefactors, as like Reese said, into this whole match of like, there are so many moves that can be done that can literally cost anyone this match. Like a Cody Cutter can go wrong. Randy Orton running up and doing a pump kick and one of the baby faces land in front of the kick instead. Like Judgment Day have always had their ways of being heels and finding ways to cheat in this. And Wargames is the perfect scenario for them to bring ridiculous weapons in. Have Rhea Ripley come in. I know it's a men's one, but Rhea can lock herself in the cage and be an extra hand to help out. We saw her
Rhea
attack.
will climb over that cage.
Exactly. We saw her fight men anyway. We saw her.
Yeah.
She dropped Carl Anderson onto the ground on the outside. She literally pummeled Akira Tozawa in the actual ring in a match. Like,
she speared Kevin Owens. Like she can do it all.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't see why they wouldn't do that kind of spot of Rhea sneaks in and jumps a few of them.
I'll be down with that. For the record, because I just realised I didn't give my answer.
You didn't.
I think Cody's team's going over in this match. I'm not happy about it. I see this as the catalyst for Damian Priest maybe distancing himself from the Judgment Day a little bit, and I think this is the way to do it. Because like someone doesn't follow his instructions, or Drew takes over and like Rhea takes his side on Raw or something like that. I think this is the catalyst for Damian Priest maybe like leaving the Judgment Day, which is unfortunate. I don't really want to see that, but it's a natural progression for him.
It is, and he's got his Money in the Bank briefcase as well. So for him to leave the Judgment Day, he can go for his championship, which is he's going to go for the World Heavyweight. It's very obvious.
Yeah, and the thing is as well is if he leaves the Judgment Day and he still has the briefcase, he could go over to SmackDown if he wanted to as well, and he could use the briefcase over there. Like it doesn't have to be. It's not brand specific.
I won't recommend doing that. I think it'd end badly for him, to be honest with you. But that's just me. Anyway,
yeah,
only the ones. Right. Anyway, let's go on to the other Wargames match we might as well, because we're already talking about it. We have got Damage Control versus. All right, help me out, guys. So we've got Shotzi, Charlotte. Is it Bianca?
Yeah, and Becky.
Yeah, Becky Lynch, and who is the other person?
That's it.
That's it.
Is it only 4 people? Right,
Yeah,
okay.
because Dakota Kai is still injured, so she couldn't be the 5th member. So
That's
they made
what I
it
was getting confused about. That's what I was getting confused. Yeah, right.
4-on-4.
Okay. So seeing as though we started at the front last time, let's go to Courtney. It's just so she's not feeling too left out. Like,
I don't feel left out. I'm just happy to be here.
Hey, listen, we don't want your points getting jacked every single time, okay? So we'll let you have the first shot at this.
True. My prediction for this match is Damage Control are going to take the win. I hate saying this. I genuinely feel as though when it comes to the babyface team, Bianca, Becky, and Charlotte are all top stars. And I just feel as though Shotzi's not at that level where she can be seen as equal as them. And that's not her fault at all. It's just the way that she's been built up. She is, out of the four of them, the one that has the most issues with damage control, as well as Bianca. I just feel as though she's been inserted in this match to do some wild stuff in the Wargames match and be used to take the pin to not affect Becky, Charlotte, and Bianca, which is really sad to say that that's the reason that she's in the match, but that's just my thought on it. I feel as though during this match as well, too, I'm not too sure how the alliance between Becky and Charlotte is going to play out. I still really don't know how to feel about them being in the same team. Maybe they'll just do their thing and then just go separate ways, because I personally feel as though Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair do their best work when they are separate from each other. They don't have to try and overpower each other and try and take over to show who's better. I do feel as though there is going to be some shenanigans within damage control. I do think that they're going to go in with a plan, and it's going to backfire somewhat on Bayley. She's not going to be in the loop with things, and she could potentially either be exiled from damage control on the night. Ooh. The seeds of doubt planted for her to eventually be kicked out of the group altogether, because we've seen what's been happening as of late. She's not feeling as though she's truly a part of the group. She's not in the know about what's going on. We saw on Friday Night SmackDown, Dakota's like, well, we haven't actually officially said who's in the group, and she thought that she was the one that was left out. Turns out it was just Asuka hadn't been, properly introduced to the group. So I think Dakota not being a part of the team is definitely going to play out some way, especially within the dynamics of the group and with Bayley and her security in the team.
Yeah, me and Ross had this conversation the other day about how if you look at Dakota's past, she's always been the one to turn on everybody else.
Yep.
So watch Dakota Kai, injured or not, she's the one to watch.
She will play a part for sure, I think. So
yeah.
But yeah, I just think I'm sad that Shotzi's probably in this match to potentially just be the one to take the pin. But I think it's going to be a great match nonetheless. I think it's going to be awesome.
I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of people say Shotzi's there just to take the pin, which is unfortunate because,
but it makes sense.
Like you say, like level wise, she isn't on the level of a Charlotte, a Becky, but she's and it's I think it is a big shame because this could be a way to build a new star, but I just don't think it's the time.
Was she in the previous War Game last year?
Yeah,
no.
Well,
no, I don't think so. I know that this is Damage Control's second year in a row, and EO's actually been a part of all of the War Games matches as well too.
Yeah, I was going to say EO's been. In
if we don't see the dustbin, it's not War Games.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
But yeah, that's my pick for the match. So.
Oh, I guess Reese has crashed again.
Oh well, we can just. Move on to...
I'll carry on. I'm in the same agreement. Damage Control for the win. I'm sorry. I want EO to do the moon stomp. I want her to finally bring it back. Especially the fact we've got Cage, like the whole Cage scenario. Kyrie drop a elbow drop from the top of a cage. I'm fully here for that. Like it'll look sick. But yeah, I love this whole new version of Damage Control. They've really brought life back into the group, and I can't see them losing straight away when you've now added powerhouses like Kairi Sane and Asuka straight in. Like, and the thing is, as we said, this is the babyfaces are a powerhouse team, but what's great about babyfaces is they can have these losses and have these underdog stories of, oh, the bullies beat us this time, so let's pick on the leader of the group. So what's going to happen now is Damage Control will win. But as you guys said about Bayley, I feel like Bayley's now going to get picked out. Io, Asuka, Kyrie, and Dakota are going to be like, oh yeah, Bayley, no, you verse them one-on-one. You verse them one-on-one. Put Bayley constantly forward as, well, you're the leader. We respect you as the leader. You have to shine for us. And then she'll just constantly keep losing and then get left out the group. I can't see the baby faces winning. It's Damage Control for
Anyway,
so I think you're in agreement there, Julie.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Damage Control can take the win. As with the new additions, I don't see them losing. The babyface team feels very off for me because, like as we said, Becky and Charlotte don't work together anymore. Shotzi just feels like a strange addition. It's just a strange put together, and I don't, as much as they would work well together, I don't see them working well together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think there will be some tension between Charlotte and Becky for sure that may cost them the match, but I also feel like some shit's going to go down with Damage Control after. And like I said, I've got my eye on Kyrie. I feel like she is the devil's advocate in this whole thing.
You leave Kyrie. You leave
Kyrie and Dakota. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'll say Dakota. If it was
Dakota, I don't know
anybody,
why I said Kyrie. I meant Dakota Kai. She's like the devil's advocate in all of this. I feel like she is going to be the problem. Like, she's the one that's going to cause Bayley to either leave or get kicked or something. Something's going to happen. I don't know what, but that's where my mind is going towards anyway. But yeah, I still think Damage Control are going to win.
No, valid. Then we go to you, Sienna. What's your thoughts, and who do you think's going to win?
I mean, this is gonna be one of these match where it's like either or could win because there are like tension between like both teams, especially like Team Babyface. Like Becky came into the team because she wanted to get revenge from Damage Control ever since what happened last year's SummerSlam, where Becky was out for at least like X amount of time, and now she's back. But then again, it's like, you know, how well she's going to work with Charlotte first, even though they're not going to be working well together. And then you have Shotzi inserted to the mix, so where I feel so sorry for her that she's part of it. But like, there's like, I honestly feel there's no other women in the SmackDown brand to be part of this War Games. I mean, you have like Damage Control, that's like the most predominantly faction in the women's division on SmackDown, despite the fact that there's going to be a plan of like betraying Bayley. I don't know what's going to be happening next. And I'm like very conflicted into who's going to get the win. So honestly to say, I'm going to go with Damage Control to win. They'll have their victory and then they're going to turn on Bayley.
Yeah.
You know, and that'll be like, oh my God.
I feel like we're all in that kind of agreement. It's Bayley is going to have something happen to her or she's going to get betrayed.
And I think because Bayley is that much of a heel, I think the only way that you would be able to successfully turn her babyface is if she was actually to leave Survivor Series on a stretcher, like completely.
Bayley's old
gone, because that's the only way that I can see the crowd actually being sympathetic towards her in the future.
Yeah, it's hard.
I was going to say maybe they do like a Kabuki Warriors style betrayal like they did to Saraya where they missed her. Like,
Yes.
Don't even. I would love that. Just seeing Oscar and Kyrie and Io in sync, all three just missed in like a triangle.
Yeah, that'd be
sign me up.
It's like that Spider-Man triangle where they're all pointing to each other. But just put
I'm so down.
No, that'd be dope, honestly. For me, like what's interesting about this match is actually what's going on backstage. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when whoever suggested that Charlotte and Becky work together on the same team.
Oh my God, yeah.
I would have loved to have hear that conversation and how that would have been brought up and received, like 100%.
I would have just loved to see Becky's reaction.
Yeah, for
like,
real.
The fuck, man.
That TikTok
she
made, the TikTok she made was phenomenal.
That's probably how her reaction was, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like that was probably not even like kayfabe.
No, 100% genuine.
Adding to what Sienna said as well, it's like there doesn't feel like a lot of women on the SmackDown brand. They also like tease Candice LeRae and like freaking Indy being affected by like Damage Control and that as well. And I was like, okay, so you've teased them, but you didn't pick one of them. Like I thought Candice LeRae would have been a great choice to add into like a War Games because she has past experience in a War Games. Same as Shotzi, but Shotzi hasn't had as much momentum or people be like, this is someone to talk about. If you just gave Candice the chance, throw her in a War Games, everyone would talk about her because they already know how good she is at War Games in general.
Candice LeRae also has history with Io Sky as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's what I was saying. I didn't get why Candice LeRae wasn't in the conversation to be in that team. I understand, obviously, Raw, SmackDown, different brands and stuff, but like Becky's on Raw and she's now in this match. Like,
someone else on Monday Night Raw, if she wasn't already in a match later on the card, that could have been inserted as Zoe Stark as well too. I mean, she's got rich history with EO as well. Just going back to that point about the SmackDown Women's Division, I mean, we saw 27 women from Monday Night Raw on TV this week, which is phenomenal. I just feel as though when you see numbers like that, it makes you feel that the SmackDown roster is not actually built with numbers; it's built with quality wrestlers, if that makes sense.
Agree.
Yeah.
Which is why it feels like there's such a smaller pool of women to choose from on SmackDown, because it just doesn't feel like there's that many. And I could be wrong, but it was just my observation.
No, you're completely right. And I'm telling you right now, if they decided, like you say, to choose quality over quantity, with a smaller pool of women to choose from, they could easily make great storylines just from those couple of women. If they wanted to, if they wanted to use the time on the TV to do that, they really could. It's not even a case of, oh, there's not enough women. It's more of a case of, can we be bothered to write stories for them all? Like, I think that's something that, like, a hurdle that WWE need to get over. And in 2024, we need more women's storylines that doesn't just revolve around the championship.
Yeah,
they need to sort those tag bouts out. That's what I'm saying.
It looks like there's a conversation for another day, but it looks like they are working on it.
Yeah,
we can talk about that in what we expect in 2024.
Yep, I'm done for that.
Yeah, for real. All right, let's move on to a different match then. Let's move on to kind of a out of nowhere match for me, to be honest with you. Santos Escobar versus Carlito. Not out of nowhere because I'm not looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. I'm loving what Santos is doing at the moment on the main roster. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I just think it's just kind of not a Survivor Series match in my head. That's just my opinion.
I know, I understand.
Yeah. So we started with Courtney last time. Do you know what, Ross? Let's go for you. Who do you think is going to win? And why?
Santos to win, quick and easy. This is going to turn into like a trilogy of matches between Santos and Carlito, both just like fighting over the fact of you broke the family apart. I had a vision. Carlito came in, tried to change the vision and broke it, especially because Ray's out on surgery for a long time now. So that's a perfect way of doing it. You have multiple matches between them. But Santos being now heel, going back to his old gimmick he had in NXT, you can't make him lose, because then the heel turn feels disingenuous. It feels like we just press the panic button to make a match because we've now lost Ray because he needed knee surgery. If you make Santos win and then make Carlito come back as this underdog story of I underestimated Santos and like how Santos was going to be, then it works perfectly fine that way. So yeah, I can only see Santos winning this as a storyline perspective.
I was really surprised that Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro didn't join.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do like a double turn and join Santos. I thought they were going to turn on Carlito as well.
They were day one Legado, dude. Day one Legado, and they didn't go with it.
I was like, that's my faction right there. That was my old NXT faction. I loved them.
Yeah, they were dope. Sienna, what do you think?
I mean, this is going to be like a compelling storyline with like the downfall of LWO, and it seems that it looks like there's going to be like a different subgroup within the LWO, since now Santo is like pretty much turning on Ray and pretty much almost everyone as well. I mean, we saw Carlito, we saw Selena Vega, Cruz, and Joaquin. It's like a uncertainty per se. But for this matchup, I'm going with Santos Escobar to be the one that'll beat Carlito. And that way, it will help him to like build like within the subgroup, bringing back the LDF, possibly adding a new member. Because now we got Dragon Lee in the main roster. I don't know what's the state of Axiom. Is he been called up? He's still in NXT because I know he did appear on SmackDown.
It was like a trial match to see how he is on SmackDown, but it's possibly he stays longer.
Yeah, the way I looked at it was the way
You've
I looked
got
at
also
it was,
Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo as well too.
Oh no, trust me, they're kind of busy doing weird things at the moment on NXT.
chasing for the NXT tag team titles against the family
Oh, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite show on TV. It's so great. I love NXT so much. Let's eat the pasta and sausages, guys. Come on, let's go. The way I see it with Axiom is it's similar to what Dragon Lee was doing a couple of weeks ago, like Ross said. They're really just seeing what kind of reactions they're gonna get, and seeing as though we got a great reaction on SmackDown with that match with Dragon, the future's bright for the Luchas on the SmackDown and in WWE, in my opinion.
Just call him up. I'm asking for him to be called up because I'm a big Axiom fan. I was a fan of A-Kid when he was in NXT UK. Him versus Ospreay was like a stellar match. Like, give me more of those type matches, and we're all good.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Courtney, who do you think is going to win and why?
Very much in the same boat as a lot of you guys. I think it's got to be Santos. You can't have this massive heel turn and the destruction and downfall of LWO happen and then just have him lose straight away. As Sienna said, I feel as though there are going to, from this one faction, I definitely think we are going to see two smaller factions kind of come out of that. Whether or not, I'm not too sure how the members come out from that, but I definitely think one big group is going to divide into two. Very excited for this match as well too. I feel as though because Ray's going to be out until about Royal Rumble season, if they want to keep this feud going and it's going to be like a trilogy of matches, you definitely need to have Santos win one, Carlito win one, and then kind of have that rubber match. So I think this would be the perfect one to have Santos just absolutely destroy Carlito and then Carlito have that reflection moment and be like, I actually did underestimate how much power you were bringing to this match, and then have that underdog story come back in. So I've got Santos for this one.
I like it. I've just thought of like a random theory on the spot, but I'm going to save it till after G says hers. But I just thought of something really dope, and I'll throw it to you after G gives her response. G, who do you think is going to win and why?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as all of you. I feel like Santos with the heel turn is going to win. I don't, however, see too many factions like coming. I think the LWO will stay as the LWO. I think this is the right time for Santos to go for his solo run, and after the feud with the LWO moved more towards a mid-card win at some point in a solo run. That's what I feel like might happen. But yeah, Santos to win.
I mean, he did want the US title, so going for a mid-card run does make a lot of sense.
I'm right. This is my theory. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I don't think it'd happen, but if I was in charge, I'd make this happen because it sounds interesting to me, right? I love the idea of the two factions breaking off, Legado del Fantasma and the LWO. I think it's way too early for the LWO to completely break up. I think it'd be a big shame to bring back everything that they've brought back in Legacy to Eddie and not build upon that a little bit more with the whole Ray and Carlito storyline. I think there's legs to that storyline. I think there's a lot there. What I will say is, on the other side of that, with Santos, I wouldn't mind him being in charge of a faction, and if it's not going to be Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, maybe bring up two other people from NXT, and it doesn't have to be two men, two women, Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez.
I'll take it.
Oh my God, yes.
She has just won the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament, and she's got a contract to challenge for a championship. What say she comes up and challenges for the women's tag team titles, beats Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Santos goes after the US title. We have a bit of a Legado del Fantasma there. Lola Vice.
I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I didn't even think
Well,
of
if you're listening, we'll take the credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Shout me out on your Instagram, Triple A.
I'm an absolute huge fan of Lola Vice. I think she has absolute unlimited potential. I called it that, like, she was going to win that tournament from the very beginning when I was reviewing NXT. Every single week I said it was going to be Lola Vice. It didn't come as a surprise to me when she won it. And if I'm honest, not everyone has to stay in NXT for a year, 2 years. Like,
True.
she can learn on the road. Dominic Mysterio didn't even go to NXT, and look how he's doing. Like, you don't have to learn in NXT. I think that would be dope. I think, because I don't think I've ever seen that before, really. Like a major faction where it's one guy and two women. I don't think I've seen that, like, in recent memory, especially. So I think that would be dope. But that's just my opinion. Like, what do you guys think of that? Like, do you think it's a good idea?
I think it's a great idea.
I believe so.
Changes up the gender norms a little bit too, because as you say, we always just expect a faction of men or a faction of women, or like half and half. But like, it would be really cool to see, like Santos recruit these two women from NXT, being like, I see a future in you, and then just, absolutely just win all the titles that you can. I feel like that would be really cool.
I think it'd be dope. I was just thinking about who we could bring up, like for when you guys were talking. I was thinking Lola Vice, and I was like, she's got the contract, and she's got a tag team partner. It writes itself.
Mm-hmm.
You want to build the women's tag team division there. You want to build the women's tag team division there. You've got a tag team right there. A built tag team, an established tag team.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even have to give him an excuse to challenge for the title. She's got a contract that says she can. Doesn't matter. So yeah, that's just me. Speaking of title matches, we have only got 2 matches left in both the championships. Let's go for Mammy Mania, baby. Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark for the Women's World Championship. Now, G, you were last before, so I'm going to start with you. Who do you think is going to win and why?
Mummy is always on top.
Damn right she is.
I've got Rhea to win. I don't, as much as Zoe Stark is, she could be one of the right people to take the belt off Rhea Ripley. I don't think they're ready to let the Judgment Day fall that far down yet. Especially if we see some kind of a split from Damien and Finn with the tag titles. I don't think that Rhea is going to drop the belt anytime soon. I don't think Rhea is going to drop the belt till at least WrestleMania, if they decide to let her drop it at WrestleMania. But yeah, I got Rhea to win.
I think we're all gonna have very similar answers on this, but I couldn't agree more. I think Rhea's holding it till Mania 100%.
Yeah.
Courtney, are you agreeing?
Yeah, I definitely think while Zoe Stark will put on a fantastic performance against Rhea, I mean, her performance at Crown Jewel enough warranted her to get this, the win in the Battle Royal to get this position. Zoe Stark has actually grown on me tremendously since she came to the main roster. When she was in NXT, I wasn't really a big fan, but her main roster run so far has definitely won me over.
What are you telling me you didn't enjoy Zoe Stark talking about sushi with the Zoe Stark?
Like,
not
really. Not really.
I feel like if Zoe Stark has grown on you since the main roster, we only have one thing to say. Thank you, Trish.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yes.
Courtney's not happy.
Where's the lie though? For real, honestly.
No. Just like Roman Reigns, I won't acknowledge Trish Stratus is the reason as to why I like Zoe Stark. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, she's grown on me a lot, but I think it's a good person to potentially dethrone somebody. But I think just the run that the Judgment Day are on right now, and if there is going to be more internal conflict within the group, I feel as though you want to keep that title on Rhea. She's not losing it before Mania. She better not, because if she doesn't have it at Elimination Chamber, I will be crushed because I'm going to be there. So I'll be very disappointed. One thing I'd love. Sorry, what were you saying, Russ?
I was saying you're in the mood where you're just like, I demand to see her as champion.
Give me what I want.
Do what I want.
One thing I'm just going to throw out there that's quite wild, and I don't know how you guys will feel about it, but I'd love to see Jade Cargill make her presence known at the end of the match.
Yeah.
Whether it's a face-off in person, or if Rhea just gets on the mic afterwards and it's like, I've gone through the entire Raw Women's division, there's no one left for me, and then Jade Cargill makes her presence known on the Titantron or comes out and actually faces off against her. They don't have to touch in any way. They could just have a stare down that could set something up for later on down the line, because we've seen it with Jade Charlotte, Jade Becky. If we saw it with Jade and Rhea, that would be quite cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
I'd be down.
Two mummies in the ring, seeing who is the mummiest of the mummies.
Well, we can't say two meaty men slapping meat because,
it's just two
meaty. It doesn't work the same way with the women. So
two meaty mummies.
No. Can't say that.
Let's move swiftly on from that.
Same as what Courtney said, Zoe's definitely grown on me as well, and I feel like she is the right person. It's just the wrong timing to book this.
Thank you, Trish.
I could see Zoe beating Rhea. I could genuinely see it, but not at the pay-per-view. I could see that very later down the line.
Yeah.
Because, as everyone said, I feel Rhea needs this year and that Mania, that huge Mania pop to just be like, I've held this belt for long enough now.
The thing is, with the, I Australian pay-per-view coming up, you just know she's not going to lose it because they're going to want her there as an Australian. Is she Australian or New Zealand?
No, she's from Australia.
She's from
Australia.
So as an Australian wrestler with a championship, they're going to want her to, like, I don't know what the word is.
Endorse. You want her to endorse the country.
Like, yeah, they want her to be, like, there as champion, you know.
The spokesperson, like, for real.
Yeah, exactly.
She's
So
the
they're
poster
not-
girl for that show.
I just feel like
Yeah.
she's not going to lose anytime soon because of that whole elimination chamber in Australia.
Yes.
I can get on board with that. Sienna, why do you think Rhea Ripley's going to win?
Well,
He goes, well,
of course, right? Same answer. She's going to hold the title all the way up until WrestleMania. But I have a feeling we're probably going to be seeing a return. And I've been seeing a lot of people have been talking about it all over on social media because I know that there's going to be like a start of like a Swift storyline that kind of like left. I have a feeling we're probably going to be seeing the return of Liv Morgan.
Ooh.
And they'll have like a stare down, and that's where they're gonna have like, you know, this rivalry built up, you know,
That's
like
nice.
pieces by pieces. And
If
that's
you're
where it's
going-
gonna be.
Sorry, you finish your point, and I'll get to you. I'll say my thing after.
It might gonna be leading up to a possibility maybe in Elimination Chambers or maybe at Mania as well. I know there's like a lot of like, you know, theories of, you know, who's gonna be Rhea's like opponent at Mania. Could be Liv or it could be Becky. Or maybe it could be a triple threat. It's like, who knows? Like, who's going to be the one that's going to dethrone Rhea? So,
I like that.
definitely going to be Rhea. Yeah.
I feel as though with that point that you bring up about Liv, I haven't seen much talk about that. So that's a very interesting thing to say. And if you're wanting to give that storyline a little bit of time, this is the last PLE for the rest of the year. The next one is the Royal Rumble. So if you want to add pieces, make it more personal, give it time.
Yeah.
That would be a really good feud for her to have at Royal Rumble and then go on to something at Chamber if she was going to be there. That's just something I thought if you're talking about needing to give that feud some time, considering that she is only just starting to come back. If that's the case, then give it 5 or 6 weeks because that's how much longer we've got till the Rumble. So
That's crazy. Like when you say it like that, it really doesn't seem that long until the Rumble.
Yeah.
No,
About
exactly.
8 weeks till the Rumble.
6 or 8 weeks. Yeah.
About 8 weeks. It's 2 months, isn't it? So it's about
It's in 2 months' time. Yeah.
When you say it by the week, it's like it's around the corner. It's so crazy.
Yeah, when you say it in months,
Christmas will be gone, and then it'll be
say
Royal
weeks. It
Rumble.
feels weird.
Yeah.
I mean, 2023 has gone by so quick.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's been a mad year of wrestling as well, just in general. Like
Wild, to say the least.
I would like the Liv return, by the way, because obviously we all used to have the Liv brutality as a team as well. So seeing Rhea and Liv like restart that kind of rivalry again, I'd be fully here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be here for it. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of Liv Morgan, 100%. I think she needs a lot of work in terms of I think she needs rebuilding. I think we were talking about this in the group chat. Obviously, Sienna, you're not in there, so I'll just like relay it to you guys. And like, we were talking about the fact that not a lot of people were down for Liv Morgan for a while, just because she felt like her wheels were spinning a little bit. I was a huge fan of her rise, like when she was facing Carmella on SmackDown, which feels like a long time ago now, and before she won the title, and then after she won the title, when she was against Ronda, after all that happened, it really started to feel like they lost their way with what they thought her character should look like. So I think if she does come back, it'd be a good way to bring her back into the picture. But at the same time, you need to be careful a little bit because you don't want the fans to like just be like, "Oh God, Liv Morgan!" Like you want it to be like, "Yes, Liv Morgan!" Like, come on, let's go. Like there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it that'd build it.
Yeah, and we were saying this in the group as well. Like, I just genuinely, like, for me personally, and I can only speak from how I feel. There's like, I personally can't find a reason to resonate and connect with her, and I think that's what we're not wanting to have happen on the main roster when she comes back. People not have a reason to want to cheer her on or a reason to boo her, however she chooses to align. I just feel as though, as Reese has clearly said and mentioned, and it is a very good point, they need to find a way to rebuild her to get you behind her, so that people like myself could actually see her as being someone that could dethrone the likes of Rhea, especially if they're wanting to go towards WrestleMania with that. I think that's making sure she's got a really good storyline, really good character, and she's focus driven, making sure that's the reason why.
It's a shame for me that Zoe Stark is the clear afterthought here, because I do think there's a time and a place to be for her to be even the women's world champion or the WWE women's champion. And I think it's a shame that she just happens to be living in the era of Rhea Ripley at the moment.
Yeah,
but I think
era.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's right person, wrong time. It's like Zoe Stark is someone that is in that conversation for sure. They've just put her in this situation now of we kind of need a good challenger, and they know Zoe will bring that out and do a really good match. But we're not making Rhea lose.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like a theme song, like Zoe's theme song says, "What you see is what you get." It's not going to be anything. It's not going to be anything special. I think Rhea's going to not handedly beat Zoe, but I think it's going to be a case of Rhea's running and then moving on. Like she's got big Judgment Day storylines to be more focused on. I think a lot of women are suffering at the moment on Raw because of Rhea's championship reign. Not her fault in the slightest. You've got people there like Shayna Baszler who literally just kicked Ronda Rousey out of the company. Like a win that you can't. There's no bigger win than that. Like there's no bigger.
It's a Ring of Honor.
Well, yeah. With Ronda, with Shayna, it's like, oh god, it's such a shame that Rhea's the champion, or else, God, I'd be cheering for you so much to be champion. Same with Zoe Stark at the moment. Even Raquel Rodriguez, like I think
that's when I feel as though that the women need that mid card.
They do.
They need it. They need something to strive for because there's such a big group of women, as you say, especially on Monday Night Raw, that they have built up that could challenge for a main event title. But with the champion being Rhea Ripley, it's not possible that they're going to take it off her because it's Rhea Ripley. I mean, she's got so much going on. She's such a big face within that company. As you say, it's like the women are really starting to suffer because there's not as much for them to strive for.
Yeah,
exactly. Like you do need that women's mid card championship, and it'll be interesting to see who. I mean, if they will do that first of all, and in 2024, who's eventually going to step up and take the title off Rhea? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen at Mania, in my opinion. But who is it going to be? That's going to be interesting to see, but only time will tell, I suppose. You can't really speculate that on that in the minute because everyone at the moment isn't on her level, so it's just not viable to have a like an opponent at the minute. Like it's going to take a lot of work to get up to the point where like the fans are going to want it, the company is going to want it. Like obviously she's bringing in the merch sales in the Judgment Day. Like it's going to take a bit of work. Like and I think after the Rumble, maybe that's the time where we start building somebody. Yeah. But for now, it's Rhea Bloody Ripley, people. Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Rhea Bloody Ripley, mate.
Now I've left this match till the last because, in my opinion, and I'm the host, so my opinion is word of bond. So this match could potentially steal the show. In my opinion,
I think it will.
Yeah. Intercontinental Championship: Gunther versus The Miz. Honestly, like I say, show stealer. If it's given time.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I think it's a foregone conclusion. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think the other guy is going down without a fight. So with that being said, who have I not said to go first yet? I don't think I've asked you to go first yet.
Yeah, I went first last time.
Oh, did you?
It's only you.
Oh, was it G?
Just you.
It's on you now. There's been 5 minutes.
Oh, God. Here we go. Here's where
actually, Ross, do you want to give your thoughts really quickly?
Everyone get the cheer before I start speaking for a long time.
Pull up a pillow, it might take some time.
Do you know what? Let the guests go first. Sienna, go on. Who is going to win this match and why?
So this is a toss-up between Gunther and The Miz. Mind you, Miz is a baby face. Like, how often do we see The Miz being a baby face?
I think in 20 years, I think it's happened twice in very short amounts of time.
Mm-hmm. And do we see The Miz as a champion as a baby while being a baby face?
That's the question.
Because like through his past championship reigns, he was a heel. And honestly to say is that you have Miz, who was, and I believe 8-time IC champion, Gunther, who broke the record for being the longest IC champion. And this is going to be like one of those matches like either or. And honestly to say, and I might be the odd woman out, I'm actually going to go with The Miz to dethrone Gunther, because this is going to be the only title that's going to be switch hand on the last PLE of 2023. And regarding with Gunther, I think it feels like it's time for him to go chase for the World Heavyweight Champion. And the only way to do so, be the one that's going to win in the 2024 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Because I feel that it's time for him to go for, time for him to go into
Oh my god, yes.
the main card. Yes. So therefore, Miz will be the one that's going to be dethroning Gunther and becoming the IC champion. And we'll see if, his babyface run will last longer. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my points literally just jumped straight off yours. I'd like to just give them now, if that's okay, before I completely forget my train of thought.
Yeah.
I would like Gunther to retain. That's my pick. Yeah. But we've been hearing as of late that there are a few strict residency issues he's got going on, meaning that he can't leave the US of A for about 6 months. I know it's really poor timing, and we want to keep that title reign going for longer. But if we're in a position as well too, where we're getting towards the Royal Rumble, I think having someone like The Miz be the one to take the title off him, and you set it up so that, as Sienna said, Gunther goes ahead and wins the Rumble, sets him up for Mania. That's awesome. That's sweet. That would be the only reason I would be happy with him losing. I feel as though if he was to lose, it would be because Imperium would be trying to help, but Ludwig and Giovanni can't agree on how to best help Gunther, would be the reason as to why he would lose the title. And with The Miz if Miz was a babyface IC champion, you've actually got a bunch of heels already that could challenge for that title. You've got Bronson Reed, you've got Ivar, you've got Shinsuke Nakamura, a returning CM Punk if that was going to happen before he goes for that main event. You've got a group of people that could challenge for that title straight away. And then along the way, Miz could actually turn. And then you've got a whole other group of people that could go for it too. You've got the likes of Akira Tozawa, Chad Gable, Otis. Like, you could do it either way. And that's the only way that I would feel if Gunther was to lose the title and they did it that way moving forward, I would be happy with it. I'm very torn. Because
I'm gonna agree with you on that as well. And if I can as well, I want to get my stuff in as well, just to piggyback on your point as well, just because we're talking about like the Mig. Who's the Mig? The Miz's legacy. The Mig is his brother.
I mean, if you say it that way, don't say it the other way because it sounds really dirty.
So like it's a strange situation here where you've got Gunther as a dominant intercontinental champion. But like you say, like with his whole, like he's not allowed outside the USA for 6 months. It's gonna be difficult to really get him overseas, obviously, and to like get that championship like on the move. Obviously, and this is just my opinion. I think it's something like that. And this is just my opinion. I in my personal opinion, I think The Miz is the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. The work that he did in 2016, 2018 with that championship really raised it back up from death. It was like on death's door, and The Miz did such a good job with it both times. And also, just to add another wrinkle to this, if he wins the Intercontinental Championship, he ties Chris Jericho with the most reigns at 9 times.
Wow.
9 times, yeah.
So, I think they probably want someone who's in WWE to have that record, or at least like able to say his name, because on Raw, I don't know if you heard it. There was like, oh, he's second to only one other person.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, just say Chris Jericho.
You can't mention Judas. No.
Yeah, just say Chris Jericho. He was in the company for 20 years. Just say his name. Like, oh my god.
He's not like Joe Hendry. He's not. You're not going to say his name and he's going to appear on the screen.
Yeah, right. Like the Y2K clock's going to start counting down.
Is Jericho a Hall of Famer?
No.
No, he's not, and I doubt he will be.
No.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
But with the Miz, like you were saying then, Courtney, he's got like this face thing going on, And I know this is a weird comparison, but I'm going to make it on that. Hopefully, my explanation will make it make sense. I'm comparing the Miz to Drew McIntyre at the moment, where McIntyre is kind of in between, but leaning towards like more of a heel, like doing what he wants, like kind of like not really on anyone's side. He's out for himself, but he's being a bit of a dick about it. The Miz is on the other side, where he's not really out for anyone. He's kind of just doing his own thing, but he's kind of leaning towards the babyface side. Like he's not really a babyface. Like, yeah, guys, you know what I mean? What are we saying? Why don't you shut up, Gunther? You know, the thing that everyone says who's a babyface. No, he's kind of just, no, I'm the Miz and I'm great. And like, you're not on my level yet. And because I've been the main event of WrestleMania, like everything that he's saying is true. Like, and he's saying it in like a bit of like a babyface way, but he's saying it as the Miz. So that he's kind of like in like a tweener kind of character, like Drew McIntyre.
Which we need more of.
Yeah, we do need more of it. And like the Miz is like one of the perfect guys to do it, in my opinion. And for me, screw it. I'm not gonna say it as well. I want the Miz to win. I want the Miz to beat Gunther. I want the Miz to beat Gunther and Gunther to go for the World Championship. That is the perfect guy to beat Seth at Mania for the World Heavyweight Championship. I really do think that.
I'm the only
like our predictions video we posted this morning is completely irrelevant now.
I know.
We can change our opinions. It's
right. Yeah. Like
am I the only Gunther guy then? Am I only legit staying with Gunther?
Yeah, man.
I'm staying with Gunther, but I'm living in a world where the Miz winning, I would be happy with as well.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm not against it, but like, here's my logic: we've got Bash at Berlin coming soon. Like, they're gonna keep the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion to be at that pay-per-view defending.
But he could be world champion by then.
It's cool if he'd be the world champion, but I think having a longer reign and you want to take your prestigious title to your home country at one of their first pay-per-views coming back sets a precedent and sets a staple. We know Gunther can hold titles for long reign. Look at the NXT UK Championship for a perfect example. And there doesn't need to be one belt change at the pay-per-view, because I'm going to state this now. I don't think Gunther loses. I think Seth Rollins is going to lose because in the men's War Games, Rhea's going to run in, lock Seth in when all the rest of it's done. All of Judgment Day will be locked in with him, batter him, and then it'll get cashed in for Damien to pin him. Option that no one was going to say.
My little heart can't take that.
No, my little heart can't take that.
Gee, have you give your opinion on this Gunther match?
No, not yet.
Go on, let's
so
hear
I
it.
have Gunther to win, and I've always had Gunther to win because I just love Gunther. And
yeah,
just love Gunther. And no, it's just nice to see him as IC and longest reigning IC, and I wanted him to stay longer reigning IC so that whoever was next IC, it's harder for them to beat his reign. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a harder goal to achieve.
Yeah, exactly. So I do have Gunther to win, but I like the idea of the Miz winning for Gunther to go on and win Rumble, because I have Gunther down as my early Royal Rumble winner anyway.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, but I am sticking with Gunther to win.
Yeah,
I have all of a sudden just changed my mind since like this morning. Like honestly, like because I'm on the Miz hype train.
I'm so torn. This is the match that I'm probably the most torn on. If I'm being,
it's going to steal the show. I say, if it's given time, it'll steal the show. I hope it'll be like
have a double champion in Gunther.
I hope it'll be Ziggler versus Miz 2016 for the IC title. Good. I think I really want it to be that. I think it has the perfect like build to it, like with Gunther as a dominant champion, not respecting the Miz, and the Miz going, listen, you do need to respect me because I have done everything in this business. I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer when they call my name. Like,
he's Grand Slam for a reason.
Double Grand Slam.
2-time Grand Slam.
Yeah. Exactly. You don't sleep on me, because if you do sleep on me, I'm taking the IC title.
That's the thing, is Gunther's sleeping on him.
Yeah, and I think like what you guys were saying about Imperium not being able to decide who he's gonna like, what's the best way to help Gunther, that's a massive thing. And just to say, by the way, we've had a long reign from Gunther. It's over 500 days now. We have had a long reign.
Yeah.
There is talks that there's a possibility of him just going, listen, no one can beat me for this title, doing like kind of like an Asuka thing and just dropping the title. No one can beat me for it. So I'm going ahead, like, you know, I don't think that's the right way to do it, in my opinion. I think someone needs to beat him for it. I would like it to be an up and coming person, like a Bronson Reed, for example. But if the Miz wins it, I wouldn't mind it whatsoever, and I think he deserves it. Like after everything that he's done in his career, I think he deserves to be the longest, like the most wins IC champion wise. I really do.
I get that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Obviously, guys, like we've covered all the matches at Survivor Series. Are there any like final thoughts that you guys are just itching to get off your chests?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shinsuke keeps giving these damn cryptic promos. We already bloody know where this is going. Shinsuke, you're either calling out CM Punk to have a fight or you're calling out Kenta. And it isn't going to be Kenta because he's still with New Japan. So CM Punk versus Shinsuke is happening. Done.
We don't accept Pepsi, just Coke.
Pepsi Phil back in WWE, baby. Agent of Chaos, let's do it. If he's going to fall out with WWE, we do. If he's going to fall out with WWE, we'll get at least one great storyline out of him before he gets fired, okay? We will. Yeah. We'll get one great story out of him.
We'll finally get that long-awaited match between CM Punk and Triple H.
Yeah.
You were the reason I left. You kicked me out. And then he'd be like, nah, man, that wasn't how it was. And
put him in the ring, steel cage, Hell in a Cell match. CM Punk versus that doctor that he was suing a couple of years ago. Let's see who wins. Let's see who wins that match.
No, but for real, I do think all roads are leading to CM Punk when it comes to Shinsuke
in the back of the head.
I mean, I've just saw
a bakery brawl match. Shinsuke Nakamura versus CM Punk.
What the
hell? All I'm saying is, CM Punk, don't bite the hand that feeds you. We know what you like.
Well, Ace Steel's not around, so that's not going to happen.
I mean, true.
Oh God.
I mean, I've just saw a comment which is a pretty cool one. Karrion Kross could be who Shinsuke is actually calling out, which I'd be very much here for. They had previous history, so I definitely like that. Shout out that. Like, that's it.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Karrion Kross return. We haven't seen him for a long time.
No, I miss
a long time. And I hope that's a good thing. Like you talk about returns, like you talk about your CM Punks, you talk about your Liv Morgans, or like there are names that we're all forgetting about, like Karrion Kross, who we've not seen for a while, and hopefully we've not seen him for a while, and it's because we're going to be getting like something good from him, in the next couple of months maybe, because I think he's been wasted in WWE for the past. For the past year. I mean, it was easy to book him in NXT. Why they're finding it so hard to book him on the main roster, I don't know. But in NXT, it was literally cool entrance, get in the ring, Sayudo suplex, cross jacket, win. It made him look dominant. It made him look cool.
The problem is we're not dumb fans anymore. We also saw him have this awful gimmick he came out with on main roster that Vince slapped.
Oh my God!
Don't even remind me of the gimp mask, please.
No,
that's my point. He is still soured from that. You did that with him. You then brought him back. Yes, I know he has Scarlet, and it's an amazing gimmick. Like, trust me, for me, Karrion is everything kind of I like in a wrestler. You have cool ass music, you have cool ass moves. You've got this really cool image about you. The problem being is how they booked him, start to finish, has been dreadful because you brought him back towards Clash at the Castle and teased he was going to go against Roman. Oh no, we're going to very quickly scrap that. Instead, he's now going to go against Drew. No, sorry. It would have been a better feud to see Karrion go against Roman, who's an unstoppable force, but Karrion took Roman pound for pound, and Roman had the bloodline help him win. That would have made Karrion look more dominant, more strong, still kept the cool image about him, and then it would have gave him in that conversation of, oh, he can go against the big guys, instead of now where they mid-card him and made him disappear.
Yeah, honestly.
I could go into heavy detail about my anger of Karrion Kross and Bronson Reed's booking, but I won't.
I have
don't.
one more thing to say about Survivor Series, and then obviously if anyone else has anything, if you don't, we can wrap up. I don't mind. But I'll say this: I think it'd be interesting now that Judgment Day's got the advantage. Let's say I don't know, Seth Rollins starts out for the Judgment Day against someone, and then Damian Priest is the second one in. Damian Priest cashes in his Money in the Bank, wins the world title, and then Damian Priest is the champion coming out of it. Like, I think that'd be cool.
That's what I'm
know?
saying. I want that to happen. I genuinely want that because it'd be the first ever time a Money in the Bank cash-in has happened in a War game situation.
Yeah.
Seen a lot
Well,
of
because
talk
the
about
match
it.
doesn't technically start until everybody. Yeah. That's not to say that a singles
Yeah, but it's a
match
separate pin.
I was going to say that doesn't mean that a singles match couldn't take place beforehand.
Yeah. And this is what's also really cool about it. It'd be the first time a belt has ever changed in a War game stipulation as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, well, there you go then.
they've never done a Money in the Bank cashing in the War games, and there's never been a belt change.
And then you could have a moment where Damien does that, cashes in, and then he's like, "Yeah, I don't need to do this match anymore," and then just walks off. He's like, "I'm done."
Which would be sick.
Right.
I'd be here for that.
Then it would technically be 4-on-5.
I've just
And then
seen
they
a
get
lot of
another
chat.
50 minutes in public.
I've seen a lot of chatter about different scenarios where Damien cashes in this match and it becomes like a War Games for the world title kind of situation. I thought I'd just throw in my 2 cents about it. Anyone else? Any final thoughts from anyone else?
No.
No, I'm happy.
No more thoughts. No. Okay. Oh, we've wrapped up Survivor Series nice and clean there. I like that. I love it. Okay, fine. That's all good. That's fine with me. I think we all got I crashed out a couple of times. So just for the record, I don't think I said who I thought was going to win the women's War Games match. And I think it's going to be. I think it has to be Damage Control. And for the other one, I don't think I said Santos Escobar. And then I think that's the only 2 people that I didn't.
Yeah,
say.
no, you did crash out on your answer.
So there are my answers for the record. But anyway, apart from that, I think we've done an absolutely amazing job. Sienna, will you do me a massive favor and plug yourself and tell everyone where they can find you and where we can watch what you've got coming out?
Instagram.
Oh, she's crashing in and out. Oh,
So much for having
Oh, you cut it out there. You cut it out there. Sienna.
Thanksgiving in the US as well. Thank y'all. Forever grateful.
Do you want to say that again? You cut out for a little bit there.
Yeah, you crashed on our end.
Yeah.
Have you still? Oh, can you still? Oh, can she not hear us? Oh no, can you hear us, Sienna?
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Yeah,
you. You can hear you now. When you was plugging yourself, you crashed out a little bit there.
Yeah, you froze as soon
Oh
as
yeah,
you
Wi-Fi. Okay, Wi-Fi is back. Okay, so TikTok, Twitter/X, IG, Sienna_Chanel_. Thank you so much for having me here, especially taking a break from cooking and all that, during Thanksgiving here. And I'm forever grateful for each and every one of y'all.
We love you,
Boom.
Sienna.
We love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting to have you on here for ages. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been great. I can't wait to have you on again. But yeah, guys, hopefully you all enjoy Survivor Series. You can catch Outcasted OC going live. All of us are going to be there watching it on YouTube and maybe in other places. You never know. But as for now, you can follow us all on social medias, on Instagram, on TikTok, on our, personal channels, and you can catch Outcasted OC with the same name on TikTok and Instagram/X if you want to. But for now, guys, we've got the Raw review that came out from Courtney on Tuesday. Yesterday, NXT from me. Saturday morning, we've got SmackDown coming up, and Ross will be covering AEW.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an absolutely amazing
Survivor Series.
It's going to be. I know, and Survivor Series, dude. Honestly, it's going to be an amazing week of wrestling. But for now, guys, have a great Thursday night or morning in Courtney's, world. Friday,
I'm just living in the future.
She's living in the future. Yeah. Oh, there we go. that just sums up her internet for the past 5 minutes.
Oh, there we go. And she's back. It's all good.
Yeah, it's the Wi-Fi.
Oh, it's fine.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. I was just wrapping up anyway. I was just about to say, have a great time, guys. Happy Thanksgiving for the US people.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, US
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.